Emme purchased a $120,000 motorhome, and then Camping World lost it.
I don't understand how you don't know where it is.
Welcome to the channel. I'm Liz. I get people the help they need when they're stuck in an RV nightmare. That help has included factory repairs, cash settlements, extended warranties, and a boatload of buybacks. None of this could have happened without you liking, subscribing, and sharing, making this channel the force that it is. Today, Emme exposes what appear to be some pretty sketchy tactics going on at Camping World. I would love to hear your take on this mess. First, Emme's story.
Me and my boyfriend decided that we wanted to buy an RV because we were going to be renting out our house. While we were renting out our house, we were going to be living and traveling in the RV. We decided to go the Class C route just for the amount of space. We have 2 dogs. For our price range, we landed on the Thor motor coach. I was just scrolling Facebook Marketplace looking for options, and I stumbled upon this one. It was a 2025 Thor motor coach, and it had 1,800 miles on it. Seemed like a pretty good price for the amount of miles and the year it was. The listing that it was under was just like a generic man's name. We set up a time to go check out the RV. I wasn't really planning to purchase it that day. They wouldn't give us the address until we were on the way, which in hindsight was kind of weird. I knew the city it was in. I told them I was about an hour away, so it would be an hour drive, and if they could send me the address, and they kind of ignored me. I was 30 minutes into the drive until they actually sent me the address. We pull up, it's Camping World. I didn't know anything about Camping World, didn't think this was a problem. We meet up with this guy who was our salesperson. Never actually met the person who I talked to on Facebook Marketplace. He actually let me know that that unit that I inquired about had sold already, but they had a similar one on the lot that was brand new. Went and toured that RV. It was $30,000 more than I was wanting to pay, so that one was off the table, but he let me know that they actually had a similar one that was $10,000 cheaper than the original one that I inquired about. It was in New Mexico, and they could probably transport it up to Utah for me. That's awesome. Is there anything wrong with it? Asked him. No, nothing wrong with it. Everything seems good. Obviously, in retrospect, the fact that it was cheaper and I actually didn't get to see it in person is probably a red flag, but I thought it was a trustworthy dealership. Seemed like the perfect scenario for us, so we decided to purchase it. Everything goes through with the purchase, but they tell me that they're not able to transport it up to Utah for us. We decide that we're gonna fly down to pick up the RV in New Mexico. We purchase our plane tickets. It's nearing the end of the week. It's time to get ready to go pick up the RV. We call Albuquerque, New Mexico Camping World. Just want to let you know, my name's Emme. We're gonna be flying down this weekend to pick up our RV. Albuquerque, New Mexico is we have no idea who you are, don't know anything about your RV, we don't have it on the lot. I'm oh my gosh, is this a scam? I am now calling Camping World Draper, Utah, asking them what's going on here. They have no idea what I'm talking about, but they eventually discover that it's in a mechanic shop in Albuquerque, New Mexico. They didn't tell me that it had any issues, that it was in a mechanic shop at all, or needed any engine-related work. We had to obviously cancel our flights. We could not get those refunded. I was pretty concerned because it took them a while to figure out where the RV even was, which to me was just a red flag, because if you sell someone an expensive RV, I don't understand how you don't know where it is. I went into Camping World Draper the next day. I was just this isn't what I signed up to purchase. I tried to pull out of the transaction pretty quickly here, but they were, no, that's not an option. You have no choice. You signed the contract. The deal is a deal. I guess we will hope for the best here. I also tried to get them to transport it up to Utah because I had already gone through the hassle of being out $600 on plane tickets. Still were not working with me at all, refused to do anything about it. A week goes by, me and my boyfriend are in contact with the Ford mechanic shop in Albuquerque. They're letting us know that it's engine-related issues. They've tried to diagnose something with the turbo in the engine. They've replaced a solenoid, which I'm not sure what that is. That didn't work. They're running a ton of diagnostics on it. They think that the next course of action is to potentially replace the catalytic converter. I wait another week. They still have no update. I don't even know at this point if the catalytic converter has been replaced. They're just still telling me we don't know what the problem is. They also inform me that they don't typically work on RVs and they only have one lift that is able to even like lift an RV up on it. This could take some time. This has been close to 3 weeks at this point. We're nearing the point where I'm about to make my first monthly payment and I haven't even seen it, touched it, taken possession of it.
Quick pause, because what happened to Emme is exactly what I'm trying to help you avoid. If you're shopping for an RV, you want to take your time and do your research. I put together an RV buyer's guide so you know which RVs to buy and which ones to stay far away from. It's built using insights from my audience of over 200,000 people and real-life cases that I've worked on. The guide covers over 200 brands. It's broken down by years and models so that you know that you're getting the right version of that RV. And as you can see from this channel, one bad mistake can lead to a very expensive nightmare. If you're shopping for an RV or even just thinking about it, this guide can save you time, money, and a whole lot of stress. It's available in both print and digital format. The digital format is on sale for 30% off, and that sale is ending soon.
I'm still talking to Camping World Draper. This isn't okay. There's no prospects on when this is going to be fixed. At what point do we decide like this thing is a lemon and it's not going to work? I probably shouldn't have used the word lemon because everyone just kind of clamped down on me. They told me that Camping World can do nothing because this is on Ford. And if Ford tells them that the issue is non-repairable, then they can go ahead and void the sale, cancel the transaction and all. That could take months, if not a year. The salesman also tells me that this is actually pretty a normal experience. It does take 6 months to a year for warranty work to be done. She tells me stories of people who bought an RV and they didn't even get to use it for like a full year. I had no idea this was a normal issue for RVs. Again, just kind of pressing her on, I want this transaction canceled. This isn't okay. I didn't sign up for it. They're not budging. And then through Ford, I find out that the RV was checked into the mechanic 3 days before I bought it with a check engine light on. They weren't able to diagnose it then. Camping World never told me this. They told me it was in perfect condition, nothing wrong with it. Immediately that was where I was like, this is not okay. This was the last time I spoke to Ford at all. This was about 3 weeks into the process where Ford essentially cut off communication. I asked them to send me the service report where it said on it the date they checked in, March 24th, and they were like, all right, what's your email? Never received the email. And that was the last time Ford would answer my calls. Another week goes by, no updates. I have now made my first month payment, which was $1,076 without seeing it or touching it. I'm not okay with this. I have a pretty decent sized platform on social media, mostly on YouTube, but on Instagram, I have about 40,000 followers. I didn't want to do this because it's just unnecessary drama to me, but I was like, I gotta start posting about this because clearly they're not responding to me asking for a refund. Then I start posting on my Instagram story, tagging Camping World, being like, just made my first month's payment without ever seeing my RV. Pretty much immediately when I posted on my story, they messaged me on Instagram. They called me that same day. Then I was able to talk to corporate. Then stuff started moving forward. The fact that I had to post on social media and have a substantial following to get their attention was pretty frustrating. And after posting on social media, I had so many people reaching out to me telling me they had a similar issue. Camping World told me they're gonna look into this. They weren't offering a refund. I was pretty consistent about I need a refund. They actually sent a higher up Ford technician down to the Albuquerque Ford to work on it. That took about a week. Still at this point, Ford won't answer my phone calls. They won't return my calls. They won't tell me what's wrong. Lesson learned throughout this whole thing is just always see the vehicle in person, always test drive it, and always have a third party RV inspector come in and check out the vehicle for you. I was super new to this world. I've never had a problem with a car in my life. I've never had a problem with a new car, so I just assumed like new RV, no problem. Not the case at all, as I've learned. I just wish that I would have just done my due diligence more, just because they weren't going to do it for me. It was my mistake thinking that they would just be a trustworthy dealership that I could purchase from. When I first saw the Facebook listing, I never think about checking the reviews of the Facebook person, but after this whole experience transpired, I did go back and look at the Facebook reviews that this specific person had, and they were all like warning against pretty much the same situation that happened to me, happening to them, where Camping World was listing under a private seller saying that they had this vehicle on their lot and then showing up to check out that specific vehicle, and they had already sold the vehicle, but they kept it up on Facebook as like it was still for sale. Being more aware of these big dealerships are listing on Facebook Marketplace as like seemingly a private seller when it's actually a huge dealership and it's actually a fake Facebook profile. I did a lot of research beforehand on my RV. I guess ignored the warnings about new RVs are not as good. I just had no experience. Looking into the negatives of the specific RV that you're purchasing would have been really helpful for me. Now, it's been about 42 days since I purchased the RV. Some higher up people at Camping World, they call me and they tell me, hey, nothing's wrong. Your RV's ready to be picked up. There was just like a little issue with a hose disconnected. That doesn't make any sense. I want to cancel this transaction. I didn't purchase an RV that was in a mechanic shop. After me and my boyfriend are both calling the Ford dealership repeatedly, we were able to talk to a front desk lady who actually informed us that they weren't allowed to speak to us. We had to convince this front desk woman to just send us the service report. After we had that service report, that gave us the opportunity to prove that the RV was in a mechanic shop with a check engine light 3 days before we purchased it. Once we had that bit of information, I was able to send that to corporate in a formal recession of sales email. Once he received that, I got another call from corporate. Still, they were trying to say, it's all fixed. I don't know what the problem is. There was really never a problem. It's ready for you to pick up. You guys told me it was ready to go. It wasn't ready to go. And then they decided that they would be able to give me a full refund. I haven't received that refund yet, but they told me that I should be receiving that within a week. So I'm very hopeful that I get that back soon.
Emme reports that she still has not received the refund, but it appears to be in process. Meanwhile, her RV that she bought for $120,000 is back on the market at Albuquerque Camping World, this time for $89,000. I reached out to the top people at Camping World and I got no response, and this was over a week ago. So I reached out again, still nothing. What do you think about Camping World's sales tactics, including possibly using Facebook Marketplace to pose as a private seller, and then using what appears to be bait and switch when the customer arrives at the dealership? Also, what do you think about Emme's list of lessons learned? Is there anything that you can add to that? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.